All right, YouTube, Repo Man 64 out here in the secret broadcast cave. I'm doing a quick video. I have to go inside and cook. It's my turn. I'm going to cook my signature meal, arroz pimienta con arroz, pollo pimienta con arroz amarillo and black beans, frijole negro for my family. On the side, I'll put a little bit of salsa verde for myself because I like it a little more spicy. But we found something really cool. I didn't find it. Somebody sent it to Brett and said, forward this to David and Reap. And so here I am. What an email it was, and eye opener. And we've been going through this for quite some time, and we've bounced around the idea that we might be changed and stay here as evidence of what just happened. The lie is going to come, and I always wondered if there's that many of us here when this lie comes out that says, "Oh, it was aliens that took them." No, I'm literally standing right here. They didn't go anywhere. I'm standing right here in a changed body. But this person's email, I took their name out because they didn't have authorization or permission to use their name. You know who you are. And I want to show you exactly what they said. And so let me get into the sharing window. All right. You all remember this kid, right? Cute kid. He's trying to convince his mother of something and telling her, and I think this went around a few years ago, telling her, listen, Linda, listen. And what happened in the comments section was, oh, he's a cute kid, but I hate the fact that he's calling his mother by her name. If you don't speak Spanish, you might actually think that. How many people jumped at this little child, chastising this little child for calling his mother by her name? You would think that somebody would have gone in to check before they did that. But more often than not, knee-jerk reactions jump up and people, oh, I can't believe he's doing that. I mean, he's a cute kid, but where's his discipline to call his mother by her first name? He's speaking in Spanish. Linda simply means beautiful. He is calling his mother beautiful. And if you don't speak Spanish, you might want to take a moment out to know what this child is saying. A similar thing happened when they decided to sell the Chevy Nova in Mexico. These guys, these fat cats got together in a boardroom and they're all like, yeah, this is going to be great. We're going to build this, for lack of a better term, crappy car that looks absolutely nothing like the Chevy Nova with a four-cylinder. It was a Chevette. It was a Chevy Chevette dressed up and renamed as a Chevy Nova. And we're gonna sell it in Mexico and we're gonna make so much money off this pile of garbage car. And so the marketing team gets everything put together. They negotiate with Mexico to sell it there. Nobody is the wiser that when it gets to Mexico, nobody wants to buy it. Why do you think nobody wanted to buy that car? Did you know if they would have invited one Latin person into that board meeting before they did this, just one, he would have said, you're going to try to sell the Nova in Mexico? Yeah. You know, it's going to be great. We're going to make loads of cash off of this car that's worthless, and we're going to sell it in Mexico. And yeah, that's the name of it, Chevy Nova. And they had just one Latin guy in there. Anybody that's stopped for a moment in their life and learned the language, they would have realized that Nova means won't go. They couldn't sell that car. They couldn't give that car away in Mexico. They were scratching their heads. What's going on? Somebody on that team had to get into so much trouble for not investigating what the word Nova meant. to Latin people. And so the same thing I think happens with people that study timelines and stuff. We get so hung up on the fact that, and we see the comments. I mean, I see the comments. They don't bother me. I have really thick skin. It doesn't bother me at all. I rarely respond to you, and if it's rude, I just delete you. I don't. It doesn't affect me in any kind of way. Uh, but we have people who have never done any research a day in their life, just straight up coming in there going, the rapture might happen in 2027. Who knows? I just want you all to be prepared for that. Based on what research, dude? Like, why would you say something like that if you have zero research? That's where that's where I get upset. That's where I become involved. That's where I lose my temper. And now, if you have just tons of research and biblical proof and say, look at this is how the numbers are looking in 2027, it's going to be, that's what I'm looking at. I'm not going to be upset because you did your work. I think you're wrong, but you did your work. If you did your work, you won't hear a peep out of me. Nothing. I follow the moon and I can prove it, and it skips over here and it does this and da da da. Well, I'm happy for you. You did the work. You put the time in. You built a timeline or a calendar based on the moon. I'm happy for you. I don't buy into it. I don't believe it. Jesus went to the cross on a Wednesday, he rose on a Sunday. There's no two ways about it. It's 84 hours. There is no two ways about it. We've proven that extensively, and we know the two witnesses will die and lie dead in the street for not 3 days, 3.5. Why throw the extra half a day in there? Why, why throw a monkey wrench into everything? Why change it up? Why not just say 3 days? Because it was actually 84 hours that Jesus was from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 3 o'clock in the morning. That's how long he was physically dead. He was physically alive by 3 a.m. And so it's fine, though, if you want to change that. I'm not going to make a hit video calling you any kind of names or worried about it because in the end, it will all pan out. So my advice to anybody who's watching this type of program, and there's a lot of us out here, David the Watchman, Brett from God's Land Down Under, we have Spinebreaker in the background. He helps us out with Stellarium stuff sometimes. We have Trevor Woods. What a great guy. That guy found something in Stellarium that nobody else on planet Earth has found. It's amazing. Trevor Woods, you should subscribe. You should subscribe to all these people that I'm talking about. And so very, very good studies on time. So, and while we don't all see the same exact time, we step within days of each other on how we view it, which again is fine. I'm going to present what I see. Never say, well, that person's wrong, that there's no way they're right. And here's why. I don't, it's a waste of time for us to be at each other's throats like that when, maybe what I say resonates with somebody and maybe what somebody else says resonates with somebody else. I've said this 1,000 times. We all have a piece of the puzzle, but we all aren't building the same puzzle. We're building different puzzles. You're over here with your piece of the puzzle in my puzzle trying to make it fit. You got to get back to your puzzle and complete your puzzle, because more often than not, what I see with other people doing other types of math, they seem to be coming to the same date. So, yeah, the Holy Spirit is revealing to them in their way. Would the moon work for somebody else where for me it won't? Yeah, I don't see why not. I'm not going to argue with that person in any kind of way. You're not going to convince me. It's not going to work. I'm not going to follow that. But I'm still not going to get involved when you do. So we have determined, I've had so many questions. Did Elisha go up the same time Enoch went up? I said, I don't know. We've studied that when Elisha went up, that Elisha, bald head, came out, 2 she bears, killed 42 kids. The Bible says little children. And the two she bears, because Elisha cursed them because they called him good. They're saying, "Go up, bald head, go up." They're laughing at him because he wasn't raptured. Elisha wasn't, and they're yelling at him, "Go up, bald head, go up." They're telling him, why weren't you raptured? They're laughing at him, and so Kevin, Spinebreaker, surmises that it's possible that the reason the two she-bears were upset was these 42 boys were making a bunch of noise around her den where she had just given birth to her cubs, or their cubs. And so they were very defensive. And that's why they came out like they did. With that in mind, remember the calendars are 6 months out. So when we're talking about Elijah and Enoch, we have to keep that in mind. The story goes like this. When Enoch was taken, there were a bunch of prophets hanging around. Remember, and I'm going to show you this here in a few minutes. Enoch was taken to heaven when he was 364 years old. He was taken up there for 60 days. During those 60 days, he was given all of the information about time and how it worked and how it went around. And we have that warning from Enoch, don't follow the moon, because if you do, you're going to fall 10 days too short every single year. So, right, we have that. But the story goes, Enoch's in his cave. I guess they lived in caves back then. Enoch's in his cave, and a bunch of people came to him and said, "Hey, Enoch, there's a bunch of horses riding around in the sky." And Enoch's like, "Oh, those guys, they're for me. They're here for me. They're here to pick me up." He knows this because when he gets back after those 60 days, he writes 366 books. What are 366 books pointing to? It's pointing to the leap year. I would almost venture a guess and challenge Trevor Woods that if you were to count back by fours, because we have a leap year every 4 years, you would actually know the exact year that Enoch, and now this is the year 3 when he's 364, not 365. You would know the exact year that Enoch was taken for 60 days and wrote 366 books. It took him exactly 40 weeks. Exactly 40 weeks, 9 months and 7 days, exactly 280 days. And he turns them over to his son, Methuselah. Methuselah keeps these writings and he turns them over to his grandson, Noah. They did these writings, made it on the ark. Subsequently, after Noah, he turned it over to the Essenes. The Essenes kept it, and when they saw what King Antiochus was doing in 400 BC about making them follow the moon, they left. This group of Essenes basically disappeared or went into hiding at some point, and they took all of the writings of Enoch, they hid them in Qumran in earthen vessels, just like the Bible tells us. And so after he finishes handing off this stuff to Methuselah, 30 days later, on his, and it says the very hour. Next challenge for you, Trevor Woods. Can you figure out what hour, based on what's going on in Stellarium back then, and who knows if Stellarium would give an accurate count, but can you tell what hour Enoch was taken? I don't know. Behold, I send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. This is the rapture. This is the day of the rapture. It's a great day for us. It's a bad day for all of those who don't believe in a rapture. It's going to be a very bad day. We all thought maybe we were going to be changed for 3.5 days. We'll run around warning everybody, but we don't really see that in the Bible. We just kind of take the Amos 3:7 saying, you will be warned. We take the 7 days of being unclean. We put a bunch of stuff in there, wondering if the possibility of us being changed and stay here for a 7 day period, because we see that all over the Bible. You can't go to heaven if you've touched a dead body. But we do see that in Amos 3:7, there's this warning. This person sent an email, and it literally blew my mind. I'm going to get to here in a moment, but I wanted you to know that Elijah will come first. What if Elijah is that Amos 3:7 warning? What if Elijah and Enoch appear, or if it's, I know it's Elijah to Moses, I know that, but what if Elijah and everything he did duplicates the exact days, and Enoch was our example of the days Enoch was taken, Elijah was taken? What if Elijah was born on August the 15th, conceived on August the 15th, and then on May the 21st, exactly 280 days later, both Enoch and Elijah are born. And it says that exact hour that he was born, that Enoch left. What if we could figure out when Elijah was born? Is that a possibility? Is that in the stars? That is a sooner event than Enoch before the flood. This is after. Possibly, right? Maybe we could figure that out. And possibly, based on this email, Elijah is our Amos 3:7 event. He's the one that'll be here from our perspective, walking around for 3.5 days. It says, behold, I send you Elijah the prophet before. Are we going to see Elijah coming down in the sky and the whole, I'm going to release the alien files now. Why now, Trump? What? After all these years, why now? Oh, well, when Elijah comes, I need an excuse as to who that is. That's an alien. That's not Elijah. That's an alien. You see what I'm saying? I think that's where this is going. Here's this person's email. I took their name out because I didn't want, did I do this backwards? Hold on. I did not want to just put them out here without their permission. But this says, Brett, you won't believe this. Rapture is not 521. Rapture is 525. Look, 521 is the day both Elijah and Enoch were translated. I agree. That's the day that's the day Enoch was taken on Sivan 6 on 521. And we surmise here in these last moments before this event takes place that Elijah, because he was also taken alive without dying, is on this side of the flood, the same exact war. God reuses dates. He reuses them all the time. Elijah and Enoch, both of these guys were conceived of on August the 15th, which is Elul 1, and they were born on May 21st, which is Sivan 6, 280 days later. 521 is the day both Elijah and Enoch were translated, and it will be the day they come back. And I believe that because this passage I'm going to show you in Enoch says exactly that. The very hour that he was born is the very hour that Enoch was taken. They're coming back in 3 days. Well, it's 2 days now because I got this yesterday from Brett. 84 hours later, 84, it's 84, 3.5 days. That's 84 hours. On 525 is the rapture. 525 is Ascension Day in the way that I counted it. I know others are counting it straight from resurrection on Nisan 18. You add 40 days and you will come to May 14th, May 13th. Depends on if it's inclusive or exclusive. Inclusive would be May the 13th. Exclusive, or did I say that backwards? Inclusive would be May the 14th. Exclusive would be May the 13th. At any rate, I digress. 525 is the way I count it, and I come to 525 as Ascension Day. What if both Enoch, what if Elijah, I keep saying Enoch, what if Elijah and Moses appear Moses is in heaven now. His body's here, but Moses is in heaven. He'll come down in spirit form. Elijah will come down bodily, and Moses will reunite with his body right here. And Elijah already has his body. They're coming back in 3 days, 84 hours later on, and now 84 hours after 525, after Ascension Day, is in fact Pentecost. It is a Sunday. I know it doesn't say that on a Gregorian calendar. Gregorian calendar changes the day to the date every single year. It's not an accurate calendar. 84 hours later, on 529, is when we get our bodies, just like John and Ronnie mentioned in their videos. Pentecost. Pentecost might be the day that we get our new bodies. Rapture here, we get our bodies back. I don't know what that means. Why would we get our bodies back 84 hours after the rapture? We have to have new bodies at the rapture. I don't know about you, but me going through this roof I would splat. I would not survive. So I have to have a new body before I start riding. Just look up. Just take a look up. There's nothing up there unless you're outside. Don't forget the trees and the wires and the electrical lines. But if you're indoors, you're going to go splat. You're not going through that roof unless you've been changed. Now, if you've been changed, yeah, you'll be fine. So this part I don't quite understand. 521, and it's probably me not understanding. 521 starts the tribulation. Rapture is 84 hours later on 525. Oh my goodness, Brett, this is crazy. The 10 days for the trib saints begin on the rapture date of 525 and goes for 10 days, ending on June 5th. Repo has it labeled as Pentecost. Remember, book of Leviticus talks about a single Pentecost event, but the book of Acts talks about 4. There's 3 main ones, and then there's this obscure, off in the distance one. The reason is because when Jesus rose, we see the account in, is it John or Luke? I don't recall, but we see the account where he appears in the upper room and they're absolutely terrified. They're scared out of their minds. And Jesus like, whoa, calm down. They thought they saw a ghost. And he's like, handle me. Why were they able to touch him when just a few hours earlier, he told Mary, don't touch me for I have not ascended to the Father? Because he ascended to the Father. That's why. He ascended to the Father, and that's where he was glorified, justified, got a new body, whatever it was. I'm sure he got it, before he rose, but he had to do that wave sheaf offering before. So then he comes back down, appears in that upper room, scares everybody out of their minds, and he eats with them, and they handle him. They're touching him. The first day he rises on the 18th, Nisan 18. But 10 days later, now if you count the Pentecost, just literally the way Leviticus says, it says the morrow after, count the morrow after. You're on Sunday, count the morrow after. Saturday, by Sabbath 49, you will wind up on May 29th. So the 10 days, that's very interesting that they put that together. I did not notice that, but the 10 days ending on June 5th. June 5th is the Pentecost count after Thomas in the upper room. 1 week later, he sees Thomas in the upper room. Nobody's scared out of the wits. They've already seen Jesus. Thomas, in fact, is waiting for him. And what does he do? Thomas says, I will not believe until I put my fingers into the wounds, the very wounds. And that's when he believes, because he has to see. He has to see. Repo has it labeled as Pentecost Trib Saints. See, just as John and Ronnie said in their last video, for the rapture of our bodies will remain for 84 hours. Are you saying, maybe that's what they're saying. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Maybe they're saying, it says rapture though. Maybe it is, are we changed here? No. Are we changed at the same time as Enoch? I'm sure they're talking with Brett, because this email went to Brett, not me. Ours then with the resurrected, just like Elijah and Enoch, we will be taken into heaven for good. So I'll go like this. Elijah and Enoch come to the same day as they were translated. I can agree with that. Doesn't say it biblically, but I see no reason why God would choose a completely different day when Enoch was clearly our example and Elijah did the same thing as Enoch. As the story goes, Elijah went from town to town, and then ultimately he was taken. 525, rapture. Our bodies are left behind for 84 hours. Ugh, I know, no. Oh, is that? I don't know where that idea is coming from. I would have to disagree. Jesus didn't leave his body behind. No, no. I mean, Elijah did not leave his body behind. Enoch did not leave his body behind. Nobody's bodies will be left behind. Our bodies will be changed into a glorified body, at which point we will shoot up. And now it's possible we're changed here. We might stay for 84 hours with, and that might be the Elijah and Moses will be here for 84 hours, but I don't know. This also starts at 10 days for the trib saints, ending with them being reunited with their bodies on June 5th. That's a little bit sooner than I would think, but it's possible. 84 hours later, we are reunited with our bodies. Ends 10 days mentioned for the trib saints. Repo has it, Pentecost trib saints. This is when they're reunited with their bodies. Oh my goodness, Brett, praise the Lord. This is it. Everyone now, you see how the excitement of these individuals are, the closer we get to the rapture and the things that they're finding out. I don't remember if this is off of Trevor Woods or if Spinebreaker sent me this, because they both kind of do work in Stellarium. But 7:33, somebody said May 21st at 7:33 p.m. Israel time. And I don't recall who said that. I went back into the messages with Spinebreak and I couldn't find 7:33. It might have been Trevor Woods that said it, but he's a big, he found so many events that happen in Cancer, and here the moon is perfectly in the center of Cancer on May 21st. But this is 8:55. I don't know if this is Israel. I'm guessing, I think everybody would use Israel, right? Because they are our timepiece. So this is literally almost 9 o'clock at night. I don't know. He did say somebody said 7:33 p.m. But at any rate, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. Here's the document that was sent to me by a gentleman. Oh, that's blurry. By a gentleman in the Discord. Sent this to me, and he sent me chapter 67. Wow, this is going to be hard to read. This is going to be very hard to read. Enoch was born on the 6th day of the month Sivan, T Sivan, which is May 21st. He lived 365 years. Statement is done. I was confused when I read this initially, saying this might not be from the book of Enoch, until I understood this is a statement. He did. He was here for 365 years, from his birthday to his ascension day, the exact moment he was born, the exact moment he ascended. He was taken up to heaven on the first day of the month Sivan. That's May 16th. That's the first day of Sivan, and remained in heaven 60 days. He's 364 years old right now. He's 365 when he's taken, but when this is going on, where he's, because we all wonder, where did the writings of Enoch come from? Well, he went to heaven. Extra biblical books tell us that he went to heaven and he was able to write all of this stuff down. No, I don't believe it should be in the Bible. Knowing the date of Enoch, all that doesn't save you. The Bible is written as a book to save. It's the word of God to save. All right, so he's in heaven from May 16th for 60 days to the first of all. It is now July 16th. 2 months, 60 days. Remember, he is born on the 6th day. So 6 days before his birthday, he was taken to heaven, and he stayed in heaven for 60 days. He wrote all these signs of all creation, which the Lord created, and wrote 366 books. To me, this points exactly to a leap year. This document might actually be telling us the exact year that Enoch left. I mean, we can do the math. The Bible tells us it was 365. We can do the math from creation. This more or less verifies that creation happened, and from what our perspective would be in 4003 BC. And if you do the math backwards, since the construct of the Gregorian calendar was invented, BC and AD was invented in 525 AD by a Catholic monk. It's not a real thing, but 4003 is what they have come to the conclusion of as the time of creation, and handed them over to his son and remained on earth 30 more days. So if you take the 2 months, the 30 months, that's 3 months. What do you have left? You have 9 months and 7 days. Why 7? Because he was taken on the first day. He wasn't taken on his birthday, on the 6th day. This is the term of a pregnancy, 40 weeks, 280 days, 9 months and 7 days. That's a full term of a pregnancy. He was writing these books from when he was conceived, and then 30 days prior. And then he does this. I can't see that. It appears as though, what does that say? May something. I can't see that. 30 days. Sorry about this. I got to do something a little bit different with these things. At any rate, May 25th of that year. Does that say May 25th? I think it does. May 21st, it would have to be because this is his birthday. Oh, yeah, it's his birthday. He stayed 30 more days. So what's really cool about it is you have 60 days, 30 days, and it just tells you that he wrote all 366 of these books and handed it down to his son, Methuselah. And so if you extrapolate the difference between the 30 and the 60, you're left with 9 months and 7 days because he did it on the first day. Very interesting. As every man's nature in this life is dark, so are his conceptions, birth, and departure. So also is conception. Conception was on August the 15th. Birth, Sivan 6, May 21st. And departure, Sivan 6, May 21st. Let me see something here. And they made a great feast, rejoicing and making merry 3 days. This is where, when this person said this about hanging around for 84 hours, I realized here it's also saying that they made a great feast, rejoicing and making merry 3 days. It took them a day to make the feast. Then they rejoiced and were merry for 3 days. 4 days after May 21st is May 25th, Ascension Day. This ties all of this. You know how I know this is written by Enoch? Because the math works. If the math didn't work, I would have to throw this out. If it was like, it's 320 books and, it took him, 20 weeks to write it. If it was that, but it's not. It matches to the moment, exactly to the moment. 4 days to Jesus' ascension, which was on Sivan 10, May 25th. One could say possibly 3.5 or 84 hours, just like that person that sent that email. That's pretty darn incredible, if you ask me. Did you know? Somebody sent me this. I liked this comment. It was very interesting. The coming Elijah's birth was announced with the wow signal given on August 15th, 1977. And you can look it up. I did. Apparently, a really powerful signal from outer space came in 1977 on August the 15th. A Jubilee is every 49 years. This is a Jubilee year, 49 years ago on 1977. August the 15th, the day Elisha was conceived, the day Enoch was conceived, the day Jesus was baptized. August the 15th, 1977, 49 years later, uh, this wow signal. Now they've debunked it since then. Oh, it's probably this. They've never heard anything like this since. Was that our first warning that things are about to change? Can you give more context? I said August 15th is Jesus' baptism, Enoch's conception. Do you have information stating Elijah was conceived? I'm still trying to determine whether or not Elijah and Enoch share in, and the more I study, the more I research, I have determined that Elijah and Enoch mirror their conception and their birthdays. I believe Elijah was born on Sivan 6, and I believe Elijah was taken on Sivan 6, is what it appears to be. And so, and then I said, okay, I found it. It was a Jubilee year as well. And then here's the math. 1977 plus 49 is the year 2026, the Jubilee year. Now, I know I said somebody told me if it's 2025, did Israel become a nation in 1947? No, it was still 1948. This is the year 2026 from our perspective. I'm saying if you're trying to count back from the beginning and come up till now and count by 49s, this is the year 2025. But every current event we have on this BC 80 calendar, which was invented by the Catholic monk in 525 AD, if you want to extrapolate from that date and go further back than that, every event that happened prior to that, now you have to match it to what we currently have. That's all. That's all I said. And you have to take into account the 0 year, which they did not. That's why we're in the year 2025 right now, not the year 2026. But irrelevant. It's irrelevant because this is 2026 as far as we know and understand. For the last 1,500 years, we've gone on this calendar. So when we do the math, though, we're always off a year. I don't understand. How are we getting this a year off? It's the 0 year. It's the 0 year. So watch that. A lot of people really stepped up to the plate, sent in some really cool stuff. I was surprised. I was like, wow. A lot of people, I like that because I can't figure it all out, but people, little pieces of information here and there, that's pretty cool. May 20, I showed you this before, May 21st of 2026. If you add harpazo to it, this is the date of the rapture, or possibly the May 25th, Ascension Day, like Jesus, just like we read with the account of Enoch. But if you go 726, which means harpazo, Israel on May 14th will be 80 years old. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. We're just, I mean, just so many things are coming out right now. Now, this person said, let's see here. Like I said before, it's a Thursday, but it's actually a Saturday. That's actually the day of the week. May 21st always falls on a Saturday. That's always a Saturday. It never changes. It is now the 19th. I took this picture a couple days ago. It's about to be the 20th. And so if that person's right, of course, I don't think that our bodies are going to follow us in a rapture 3 days later. I don't see any biblical evidence of that. But what if we're changed and we're stay here for 3.5 days? I don't know. I know Satan's going to hate that because then we're proof. And I don't know that Satan wants any part of us proving that the alien thing is a lie. 2 witnesses will be enough that he has to deal with, let alone, millions and millions and millions of us here screaming to everybody, look at me, shoot me. I'm impervious. I'm a Superman. I can walk through walls now. I don't know that doesn't sound like something biblical either, but the thought that we would get our Amos 3:7 warning of Elijah and Moses rising on this day, on Enoch's birthday and Elijah's birthday, on this day, the thought that that might happen here, and that is our Amos 3:7 event. Not that we're changed, but it's Elijah appearing from heaven. Oh, those are aliens. You see what I'm saying? And then we're here, and now we have our Amos 3:7 event, our Amos 3:7 warning. It's nothing like we ever thought it was. It wasn't an earthquake. It wasn't Damascus. It was Elijah coming down, and we saw it, and we knew what it was, but the rest of the world bought into the idea that it was aliens. And then 84 hours later, we are taken on Jesus's rapture day. I'll have to look at it if it's the 24th or 25th. I don't recall. I think it's 25th. But I'll look at that in a moment. That's just food for thought. Food for thought. I don't see a scenario where we're taken to heaven without our bodies are going to do what? What are they going to do? Lie around? It's just we don't see that anywhere in the Bible. You know, I mean, we see Lazarus, but he was literally buried in a tomb. They're going to bury 153 million of us. I don't know if that would be something I would. That's not a what do they call that? A rabbit hole that I want to go down. Jesus's birth was on September the 29th, not in 26, and sorry, in 4 BC. But his ministry lasted from, I don't even know why I have this on here. Oh, I just wanted to show 3 years and 182 days. His from his birthday, that's what that is. From his birthday to his death day is 3.5 years, or 3 years and 182 days. Exactly. All right. September the 24th, which is atonement, the Revelation 12 sign. The Revelation 12 sign will be 9 years old at this point. And when the Revelation 12 sign is 9 years old, this is where tribulation begins, because this is where it ends in 7 years. In 7 years from September the 24th, the Day of Atonement, the Revelation 12 sign was your 9-year warning. I believe that the tribulation will begin here. And on September the 24th, on the Day of Atonement in 2033, I believe that the tribulation will end. Something about the 2300 days, I still haven't been able to fit it, to make sense of it quite yet, but we do know the time is cut short, and 2300 days simply cuts the time short by 210, 210 days, 2300 plus 210. Is that right? Maybe it's 220, 50, 25, 20, right? 2300. That's 220 days. That's interesting. What if it's 222 days? But at any rate, yeah, September the 24th, 2033 ends it. I think that Satan is going to mimic Jesus in that on the Day of Atonement, he is going to show himself fully, possibly before that. Maybe he waits for the rapture speculation to die down, and he's fully convinced everybody it was aliens. And he comes on the scene on atonement, and he's got 7 years. Halfway through, just like Jesus, halfway through, triumphant entry, Satan will go in and proclaim himself to be God. He'll have a triumphant entry on March 26th. He'll go in and proclaim himself to be God, possibly 33, 34 days later on second Passover, or even on Passover. I'm not quite sure yet. It's got to fit. That's all I'm saying. It's got to fit. Elul 1, baptism, August 15th. This is when Enoch is conceived. This is when Elijah is conceived. And they are both born on May 21st, 2025. And it's also the date that Enoch ascends, Sivan 6, and we believe now that Elijah ascended also on that day. 280 days. When I say 9 months, I'm talking about 280 days. I'm talking about 9 months and 7 days. That's what I'm talking about. 9 months, 7 days. That's 280 days. That's 40 weeks. That's how long the full term gestation period of a baby is. That's David gave me that. What a guy. I don't know if I should take that as a good thing or bad. Am I like Homer Simpson trying to figure this out? Probably. All right. So where are we at right now? We are here on, is it the 19th? Yeah, we're here on May 19th. We're coming up on May 20th. Here's what I think. I think Elijah and Moses are going to appear in Israel. We're going to see them come down. It will not be a hidden event. And that's why they're setting all this alien stuff up. And it's going to happen at some point on May 21st or possibly May 22nd. Um, uh, and then 84 hours from whatever that moment is, 84 hours you count forward. I would speculate 1, 2, 3, 84 hours, half a day. I would speculate it'll either be late on May 22nd or early May 21st, I mean, and early May 22nd. And then, and it might be 4 days. It actually might be 4 days because Jesus is the door. The door is open, and here it shuts right here on Savant 10 on May 25th. This is the Cosmopolitan Wave Sheaf offering. This is the fourth wave sheaf offering that we see in the book of Acts. It's obscure. Nobody quite knows how to fit it in. Realize that there's four of them in the book of Acts, which means Jesus must have ascended 4 times. The morning that he rose on Nisan 18, he rises. Or he comes back on this day, as it were, but he goes to heaven and does a wave sheaf offering. He goes right back to heaven and he stays up there for a week and he does a wave sheaf offering for the tribulation saints. He goes again and he returns 7 days later after doing a wave sheaf offering for Israel. And this is the catching of the 153 fish. 1, 2, 3 times. So then I just went 37 more days. I was absolutely shocked when Ascension Day landed on a Wednesday, on the same day Jesus went to the cross. It landed here on a Wednesday. And so just like Leviticus says, Leviticus talks about how to count a Pentecost. Leviticus does not tell me how many Pentecosts there are, how many wave sheaf offerings there are. It doesn't say, but Jesus performed these three. And if you count them out, like Leviticus says, from this is Sunday, from the Sabbath after, you start your count here. Count by 49 days, and there's your first Pentecost for the bride. Same thing. Thomas in the upper room, go down. This is your second Pentecost for the tribulation saints on June 5th. Then I'm sorry, the on the shore with bread and fish, 153 fish are caught. You come here to your count 6 days later. And here you have Pentecost for Israel. This is June 12th. And then, of course, when I was reading the book of Acts, I'm like, what's this fourth one? I don't even understand. Jesus would have had to had gone to heaven 4 different times, and I just don't see that anywhere. And then it dawns on me, yeah, I do. He ascended on this day. And since Leviticus tells us you are to count from the Sabbath after, it doesn't matter what day anything happened. You will always begin your count from the Sabbath after. And here's the Sabbath after. We know Pentecost always landed on Sunday. Here's the Sabbath after. If you count by sevens, lo and behold, you get down here to 717. This is the cosmopolitan wave sheaf offering, basically for everything and everyone. It's over with at this point. Could this be something that's done at the end of the millennium? Possibly. No, these aren't the exact dates. Well, I believe this one is, but well, the dates are correct, but I don't know about the correct year. I don't know if the Trib Saints will be here for a year and 7 days. I don't know if I know that the Jews are going to be here for 7 years. So maybe this is the time cut short. I don't know. I haven't worked on that yet. But at any rate, this is where you begin your count after the ascension of Jesus. He does the fourth count like it shows in the book of Acts. You start your count here, just like always. You go to the Sabbath after, the morrow after the Sabbath. You count by the Sabbath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We land here. It's a Pentecost. It is a Sunday. This evening is when this evening is of 3. This is the Feast of New Wine. I know a lot of people, but this is extra biblical. We found, and then Dr. Barry and Tyler at Generation 24 and 34 did some really in-depth study in this subject, and in fact found that on the 3rd of Av is when the Feast of New Wine actually is. And I find that pretty cool. Dead Sea. Dead Sea. Why do I have Dead Sea? Oh, maybe I have this because this is the date, the 3rd of Av, found in the Dead Sea Scrolls as to when the Feast of New Wine is. So the Feast of New Wine is the 3rd of Av. I think it begins, so you can't drink on a Sunday. You can't drink. I guess it's the first day for them, so they could. But it's a Pentecost. I don't know that they were able to drink on a Pentecost, but they sure could here at sunset, becoming the 3rd of Av. And that's the festival of new wine. And they got drunk. They got drunk. So much so, I think a week later, their Tisha B'Av, they were getting married, or Tu B'Av. Maybe that's the wedding thing. But at any rate, here we are. Jesus baptized. It is a Chodesh, meaning we're to celebrate the head of the month, and not the head of the month, the head of the month. It's a little one. It is August 15th. And if you count and add 280 days to that date, you will wind up right here, where Enoch is born. Enoch ascends, and we believe now that Elijah was born here. He didn't live 365 years, but Elisha also, we think that Elisha ascended on day 66 of the year. So it's a very high watch time. May 21st is a very high watch time. Will it be the rapture? Man, I sure hope so. Will it be the moment that we see Elijah coming back, like the Bible says that before Elijah will come, he will be the sign, he will come back before the great and terrible day? Will that be the day? Sure sounds like it. I don't know. We're going to keep our thinking caps on and keep trying to work on this. I appreciate so much, so much, the people that get involved with this and have found stuff absolutely amazing. Can you imagine the wow signal happening on August the 15th, exactly 49 years ago at Jubilee, perfectly on this day? A 49-year warning. How about a 9-year warning for the Revelation 12 sign the night of September the 23rd, 24? Bleeds over into these 2 days because I'm trying to fix the Gregorian calendar. But it happened on Tishri 9. And then Tishri 10 is when Jesus ends his fast for 40 days. That's kind of why I can't really put this here, because 40 days after Jesus begins his fast, after he's baptized and goes out into the wilderness, 40 days is 192. So if I add 40 days to that, it's actually September the 24th. This would be the 24th. So I have to be careful where I put that extra day, because it start interfering with day counts. And we know for a fact Jesus was out there for 40 days. So this is actually September the 24th. I found out later in an extra biblical book that October the 31st and October the 30th and the 31st are the same date. That's where I found it. So, all right, YouTube, Repo Man 64. I got to get inside and hacer comida para mi familia. Yo tenía que cocinar oreos, arroz amarillo, pollo, pimienta, con frijol y negro. I cook the best food. So, yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, YouTube, just keep watching. Just keep watching. We're there. We're right at it. This types of little nuggets that are coming out. Imagine that is the sign. Who knew? Who would have ever thought of that? That was a good email. No, your sign is going to be Elijah coming down. That's why they're bringing all the alien stuff out. They need an excuse. The disappearance. I mean, we're instantly disappeared. Instantly. We've talked about we're going to go up and hang around in the clouds. There's all kinds of things I've discussed. Maybe we're changing. We stay here for 3.5 days or 7 days. Who knows? We see it in the Bible, this warning, but what if it just turns out that it's Elijah and Moses coming down from heaven, and we see it. And from that moment, from that second, you just count forward. Now we're still, no man knows the day or the hour, because I don't know. You count 7 days, you count 84 hours, you count 4 days. I don't know. I guess we will see. We will see when it happens. Believe it's going to happen here. I believe it's time to get excited. I think it's going to happen here any moment. Look, we're at the point now where we can almost say that nobody is going to be marrying and giving into marriage and eating and drinking. We're at that point now where everything is shutting down. It's all going to shut down. There won't be anything for us to be able to plan anything like that. We're at that point now. It's not going to go on another 6 months or 9 months to 2027. Don't even don't even come at me with that baloney. That sounds like somebody that wants to stay here and stay here and keep making money and keep doing the things that they were always doing. Whatever job they had, they wanted to continue. They don't want to go to heaven. They just kind of want to stay here. But I don't want to let anybody know that. So I'm going to say silly stuff. That's what sets me off. Do a little research. We're there. We're right at it right now. We're about to go home. All right, YouTube. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if anything pops up, man, I'm looking at the earthquakes. Yeah, they're kind of piddling around. Peru got hit with a pretty good sized one 4 hours ago, but nothing to write home about. Maybe it's just Elijah and Moses that we see, and that will be our warning that the rapture is about to occur. I guess we shall see here in the next day or two. All right, we will chat with you all again later. Oops, wrong button. That was almost catastrophic.